renouncing an inheritance in favour of a specific person in Spain can be an expensive mistake. My name is Michael Davies. I'm a Spanish probate lawyer. I've been handling estate planning, probate, and inheritance-related litigation for expats in Spain for over 25 years. Okay, so this is a mistake that you need to avoid. If you're thinking about renouncing an estate in favor of your brother, in favor of your dad's carer, in favor of the neighbor, first watch this video because it may not be the right thing to do. Okay, so what happens is like in this case, two brothers have been called to inherit their mum's estate. And one of the brothers doesn't need to have the villa down here in Fuengirola, so he wants his brother to have the complete property. So they go ahead, they go into the notary, and they sign an acceptance of inheritance with renunciation by one brother in favour of the other in respect to his half. The surprise comes when they have to do the inheritance tax return. Why? Because the tax office considers it two transactions. And the renunciation in favor of the brother, respect to that half, is considered a donation. And of course, it's a donation between group threes. In other words, cousins, brothers and sisters are all considered group three. And unlike donations to group 1 and 2, which are spouse, descendants, donations between group threes are taxed. And it would even be worse if they were renouncing in favor of a third party, like a neighbor or a carer, then it would be even worse. So am I saying with this that you shouldn't renounce in favor of somebody? No, but you need to know the consequences, and it's important to have a look at the documents to see if there is any other way of achieving the same result with less expense. It's not always the case, but sometimes there is. For example, if the will had said, I leave everything to my children, and in the case of one passing away or renouncing the estate, his share accrues the other, then it's really good, because then the brother that doesn't want the estate, all he needs to do is go and sign a full renunciation of the estate. Nobody's got the obligation of accepting the estate. You renounce the estate, and then what we do is we look for what is the next step on the will. And the will said, in the case of renunciation, or one of them predeceasing the other, his share accrues the other. So without him having to renounce in favor of, in which case he's assigning the beneficiary, without him having to do that, automatically the next step that the will takes us to is the brother inheriting everything. So with that, the brother will inherit everything. He's entitled to his €1,000,000, so it will be free of inheritance tax, and there's no donation tax, because the brother that is renouncing is not assigning it to anyone. He's simply renouncing. Okay, so if that is done correctly, in this case, it would lead us to the right beneficiary. Now, this is not always applicable, because if, for example, the will does not contemplate renunciation by the beneficiary, then if he simply renounces, then that part will be considered intestate. We don't want that. And likewise, if it doesn't lead us to the right beneficiary, because in other words, the will may have said, I leave everything to my two children, and if one of them predeceased, I want his spouse to receive the estate, and that's not what they want, because they want the other brother to inherit it and lead us to the right place. So in this particular case, there's one other angle to it, and that is they could have both accepted the estate and then signed what's called dissolving of a joint ownership, which we'd have to do the number crunching bit, almost for certain would be cheaper tax-wise than the donation tax. So it's quite complex, but the important thing is to realize is don't jump in and renounce to an estate in Spain in favor of somebody, or renounce point blank, because it can cause a large tax bill if it's not looked into carefully. If you enjoyed the video, found it useful, please hit the subscribe button. It helps, and hit the like button. It helps people find our videos. and it will also mean that you'll be able to see more of our videos, and we always try to keep clients informed of all the legal issues that affect expats and property owners in Spain. Thank you for watching.